Hello guys, hope you are doing well. I'm Dasha Solangi once again here with another lecture, and my location is lecturer in zoology at Government Girls Degree College, Jacobabad. So look at the background today. This background suggests you few things that there are some medicines, capsules, a syringe, a brownish color material in the silver foil, a whitish powder, a lighter and a spoon. So if you cannot guess today's topic, you can write out the name of the topic. Today my topic is effects of drugs on coordination. This topic belongs to chapter number 3 and its name is coordination and control, subject zoology, class 2nd year. So first of all, there is an introduction that what drug is. Whenever we talk about the drug, we have this concept in our mind that drug is something that makes you intoxicated, that loses your balance, that makes you senseless, and that creates a situation of frustration in you. But what drug actually is? Drug is a substance that alters the functioning of body either physically or psychologically. Some drugs are helpful in curing the different ills or diseases, while some affect negatively. The way of drug administration is also worth noticing. Now, drug is a substance that affects our body in two ways. The first one is positive, the other one is negative. Sometimes we are ill, we are feeling headache, we are feeling fever, we are feeling other sufferings, so we take drugs. So those drugs affect us positively. They relieve our pain, they ease our sufferings, they remove our illnesses. But sometimes these drugs may be addictive, these drugs may render us senseless, and they may lose our balance. So drugs have two effects, positive and negative. Now let's see how these drugs affect our body. But before going further, I must tell you the way the drugs are administered into our body is worth mentioning here. There are few, or I must say many ways to administer drugs, but of them I have just mentioned here 5. The first one is orally. Some drugs we take orally, like we take medicines, like we take syrups orally through our mouth. And the other type is intramuscular. Some drugs are taken intramuscularly, like we inject those drugs into the body, into muscles, into the muscles of arm or into the muscles of other body parts. So those drugs are called intramuscular drugs. The third type is intravenous. Some drugs are injected into the veins for their fast and rapid effect. So those drugs are called intravenous drugs. And the fourth one is intradermal. Some drugs are injected into the epidermis. So those drugs are called as intradermal. And the fifth one is intraocular. Some drugs are put through the dropper. They are put in the form of drops into our body. So those drugs are called intraocular, like eye drops that we put into our eye. We have some eye diseases. We have burning, itching sensation in our eyes. So we take intraocular drugs. These drugs affect our nervous system. So these drugs are called psychoactive drugs. They are addictive too, because if you are taking them frequently, if you are taking them continuously, so they are just addictive, and we just develop an addiction to take those drugs. Now let's see the types of those drugs. Among them, the first one is stimulants. A stimulant, as the name indicates, a stimulant means a thing that stimulates you to do something. In this regard, what are the stimulants? A stimulant is a drug that provides temporary energy and encourages activity. By taking this drug, we just feel ourselves energetic. We have a freshness in our body. We just want to do something in that time when we take that drug. So we have two examples in this regard. The first one is tea, other one is coffee. Suppose if you are addicted to tea, if you are tea addicted, so you just pretend that when we take tea, we feel fresh, we feel energetic. Same problem is with me. For example, if I am a lecturer and before taking my class and after taking my class, I need tea. because I need energy that I have lost while delivering the lecture, or before going into the class I need some tea to energize myself to deliver whatever I'm going to deliver in the class. And the other one is coffee, same effect coffee has as a tea has into our body. The other type is depressant. As the name indicates, depressant means to depress, to suppress something. So these are the depressants that depress our body functions. Now let's see what depressants are. Depressant is a drug that slows down the rate of body functions. Depressants slow down the functions of our body, like metabolism, like digestion, like filtration. Especially the functions of liver are badly affected by depressants, because if you are taking them continuously, frequently, they slowly and gradually suppress or depress our body functions. In this regard, we have three examples here. The first one is alcohol. Alcohol is a major depressant in our body. The people who are taking alcohol frequently, their body functions get slow. Like a person who has addiction of alcohol, his liver is badly damaged, and finally he or she develops a type of cancer that is called cirrhosis, that is type of liver cancer, because the person's liver is badly damaged due to the intake of alcohol. The second one is marijuana. Marijuana has the same effect on our body as alcohol has. The third thing is tranquilizers. Tranquilizers are the drugs that make you calm for quite some time. In this regard, benzodiazepines are the medicines, are the tablets that are nowadays working as tranquilizers to depress our body functions. So the third type is hypnotics. Hypnotics are the drugs that induce and maintain sleep by causing physical and mental calmness. Hypnotics are the drugs that make us sleep if we have insomnia problem, or if we are suffering from high blood pressure, if we are suffering from hypertension and we cannot sleep properly at night. So our physicians, our doctors suggest us hypnotics. These hypnotics make us sleep and they make us calm mentally. But remember that the person who is taking hypnotics, in fact the person doesn't sleep. Person's mind doesn't sleep, but person physically sleeps, person's body sleeps for quite some time, but person is awakened by mind. So these hypnotics are very dangerous drugs. They affect kidneys badly, they affect liver badly, and they affect other body functions badly. The fourth type is analgesics. What analgesic is? It is a drug that reduces pain or kills it. In other words, in an easy language, we can say these are the painkillers. Painkillers serve as the analgesics, like aspirin, like Panadol. These are the painkillers that reduce pain, that reduce headache, but these are also drugs, and people also develop addiction to those drugs. For example, if you are sleeping in afternoon and after waking up you have some sort of headache and you are taking Panadol, and this situation if goes for 4 or 5 days, you will be automatically addictive to Panadol. So these drugs, whether it's Panadol, whether it's aspirin, these are both addictive. So in this regard, analgesics reduce pain. These are used as painkillers, but they should not be taken frequently. They are taken often. They should be taken off and on, or when you feel your pain. When you feel extreme pain, then you should take it. Otherwise, you should avoid that. The fifth type is hallucinogen. Hallucinogen means a thing that creates paranoia, that creates whim. It makes the person whimsical. It's a drug that makes people see the things that are not there. Suppose you are seeing the things that physically are not present in front of you, but you are just imagining them that they are present. So this is a situation, this is a condition, this is applied that we call hallucination. So these hallucinogens create hallucination. Hallucinogen also produces ecstasy. It's the feeling of pleasure. Ecstasy means we have been cut off from the world, that what's going on in our surroundings, we don't care about it. So we feel ourselves in ecstasy. Scientists believe that hallucinogens disrupt communication between chemical system and brain and spinal cord. So why this hallucination is caused, why this paranoia is caused, the scientists have developed a reason behind it. The reason is the person who is checking hallucinogens, the person's connection, the person's link between chemical system in brain and spinal cord is cut down. Therefore, without any communication, person feels paranoia, person feels hallucination. It may produce fear and paranoia, as I have mentioned earlier that this hallucinogen produces paranoia or hallucination, but it also produces fear, because a person who is checking hallucinogens, some person fears from everything, person creates a lot of fears from different things, but these are just whims, they are not based on any sort of reality, any sort of fact. So these are just fears. In this regard, there are two examples. The first one is hashish, and the second one is cannabis. Cannabis is going on fastly in today's period, today's world. But cannabis has some positive effects too. But here, cannabis is presented as hallucinogen. In the other picture, you can see different plants that work as hallucinogens. These are different herbs, different flowers, different leaves that work as hallucinogens. Now, the sixth type is narcotics. Narcotics is a drug that causes temporary feeling of euphoria. People who have addiction to heroin, addiction to morphine, so they have feeling, they are addicted to euphoria, means they want to live and in that situation forever. So therefore, once their euphoria is broken, they again check the heroin or morphine. So this is a very destructive, dangerous drug, narcotic. Heroin is. There are two pictures below the definition. In the first picture, you can see a whitish powder, and beside it there is a syringe. In the other picture, you can see a flower. Actually, this is a poppy flower, and this is a flower. From that flower, heroin is extracted. These flowers are grown in Afghanistan, and Afghanistan is the hub where the heroin or the flowers of heroin grow. And this drug is too much addictive, too much destructive, and destructive not only for a person, but destructive for the person's family, even person's offspring, because it is too much costly for a person, and therefore it is addictive, it is destructive for whole of the society. The seventh drug is inhalants. Inhalant, as the word indicates, inhale, to inhale something through nose. So what inhalant is? It's a drug that causes confusion, memory loss, and temporary feeling of pleasure. Inhalant is a drug that is not taken orally, that is not taken intramuscularly, that is not taken intravenously, intraocularly, but it is inhaled through the nose. So these drugs are much more dangerous, and they cause confusion, loss of memory slowly and gradually. The person who is taking inhalants, the person has loss of memory and temporary feeling of pleasure. After taking that drug, person feels a temporary feeling of pleasure for quite some time, but after that again the person feels the same need of that drug. In this regard, we have three examples. The first one is glue, paint, gasoline. Besides them, there are some other inhalants. Too, like polish, like nail polish. Nail polish is also working as an inhalant. Polish, the shoe polish is also an inhalant. There are some other things too that serve as an inhalant, like Samad bond. So these are inhalants that are addictive, and people also inhale them. The eighth type is nicotine. Nicotine is basically a drug, and it is found in tobacco, a drug occurring in tobacco. That is addictive, causes temporary energy in body, reduces fatigue, but increases heartbeat, narrows blood vessels, increases blood pressure, and causes nervous disorders. So you are well acquainted with smoking. The people who are chain smokers, what do they pretend? if you ask them why are you smoking, they'll tell you the benefits of cigarette. They'll tell you that we take cigarette because it makes our digestion proper, it loses our fatigue, it energizes our body, it reduces our stress, but it's not so. These are just pretensions to take the cigarettes, to smoke the cigarettes, but in fact it is a very dangerous drug that slowly and gradually destroys the lungs, destroys the alveoli, and finally people, those who are chain smokers, they have extremely negative effects on their body. Like the first one is their heartbeat increases. With the passage of time, their heartbeat increases, their blood vessels get down narrow. When their blood vessels get narrow, obviously their blood pressure increases, so they have increased blood pressure, they are the patients of hypertension. And the main thing that smoking causes is nervous disorders in people, those who are chain smokers. Below the description in the figures, you can see cigarettes, and in the other figure you can see the lungs of people who smoke. So there are two comparatively two figures. The first one is before and the other is after. Means people who are chain smokers, a person who smokes, he has blackish lungs, he has smoke in his lungs. And in other picture, the person, when he gives up the smoking, he has typical pinkish orange lungs, a sign of healthy lungs. So this was the 8th type. Now come towards the merits and demerits of drugs. Obviously, by just taking the name of drug, we have a lot of demerits of drugs, but drugs have some merits too for quite some time. So all drugs have both merits and demerits. It depends on the drug, the dose, the recipient's fitness, weather, and even the setting where they were taken. Now these merits and demerits depend on few factors. Those factors are, the first one is drug, that what drug you are taking. The second one is dose, how much dose of that drug you are taking. Either you are taking overdose, or you are taking underdose, or you are taking dose that is prescribed to you by your physician, by your doctor, by your surgeon. The third factor is recipient's fitness. People who are fit, healthy, they develop less harmful effects of drugs. But those people who are weak, who are suffering from other diseases, they develop more and more harmful effects of drugs. So it depends on the recipient's fitness also. The other factor is weather. Means people who are living in the hot areas, humid areas, they have slow effect of drugs. They get well slowly. But those people who are living in the cold areas, or people who are living in the moderate areas, they recover fastly because drugs affect them very soon. So weather matters a lot here, and the settings where they were taken, means at what time they were taken. So these are the few factors that affect the drug. Now let's come towards the merits. What are the merits of drugs? The first one is drugs reduce inflammation. You take drugs when you feel inflamed, when you have inflammation. Drugs ease headache. Obviously, when you have a headache, you take Panadol, you take aspirin, or other medicines you take, but after taking that drug, your pain is relieved, your headache is relieved. The third merit is, but remember that don't make it a habit of taking those drugs. Just check them when you feel extreme pain. When you feel little bit pain, leave that, ignore that. But you feel extreme pain, then you should take it, and in a limited quantity. The third thing is reduce risk of heart attack. Drugs reduce risk of heart attack. In the case of heart patients, drugs reduce risk of heart attack. The fourth thing is drugs maintain BP. Suppose if a person is the patient of blood pressure, if a person is the patient of hypertension, so to maintain that blood pressure, people have to take drugs, people have to take medicines for maintaining that BP. So in this case, it is the merit of drugs to maintain that BP. Number 5, drugs reduce stress. People who remain in stress, they take analgesics or take other drugs to reduce their stress. They sleep, and after waking up, they just feel their stress reduced. Number 6, drugs induce sleep. In case of insomnia, as I have mentioned earlier, that people who are insomniac, they have problem, they cannot sleep well properly at the night. So those people use drugs. So in this case, drugs induce sleep, and it is, we can say, a merit of drugs. Now come towards the demerits of the drugs. What are the demerits of drugs? There are a lot of demerits of the drugs, but I have just chosen the top most 8 of them. The first one is stomach irritation. If you are taking drugs, you feel stomach irritation, whether they affect you positively on the target for what you are taking drugs, but they surely cause stomach irritation if you are living in the hot humid areas like Jacobabad, like Nawab Shah, like Sibbi. Number 2 is stomach bleeding. Drugs cause stomach bleeding in case of intestinal problems. If you have intestinal problems, so drugs cause stomach bleeding. Number 3, reduce risk of death in case of heart attack. In case of heart attack, drugs. So number 4 is drugs have disastrous physical and mental health consequences. Obviously, if you are taking them continuously, they will destroy the patient physically and mentally. Number 5, breathing problems. People who are already suffering from asthma or other diseases, when they are taking drugs, they have breathing problems. Number 6, lung cancer. Means if you are taking some drugs for any sort of lung illness, so these drugs have opposite effect too. They can have opposite effect on your body, so they can cause lung cancer. Number 7, contraction of HIV, hepatitis and other illnesses. For example, if you are taking drugs for different illnesses, but they have vice versa effects too on our body, so they can cause HIV, they can cause hepatitis and other illnesses. Number 8, this is the last one, drugs could be addictive. Obviously, even a Panadol can be addictive. Even you can develop an addiction towards Panadol. So drugs can be addictive, whatever drug it is. Thanks for watching.